Hi everyone, Amanda here. Today we're going to be going through some mobility and stretching exercises. Now there's plenty of equipment that you can use at home. I'm going to be using a jump rope as an alternative to a yoga strap, but you can also use things like an old tie, you can use a belt, you can use a long fabric measuring tape, one that's movable, anything like that that you can find that is long enough that you can stretch out your arms is going to be the right fit for this exercise. So we're going to warm up using the rope instead of a strap, and following that we'll do some stretches, and then I'll take you through some exercises that you can do with a rolling pin. So we can use this as an alternative to using a foam roller. But if you don't have one, don't worry, that'll be right at the end. So to start out, we want to get warmed up. So we're going to start off with some dynamic stretches. Just set my rope down, and I'm just going to start off just to warm up. Even though we're stretching today, we want to make sure that we're nice and warm. So let's just start with a march. We just need to make sure that we're not cold when we go into our stretches. Dynamic stretches are warm-up based stretches. Those are the ones where we move through the range of motion. So when we do things like side-to-side reaches. So we're moving the joints through a range of motion, but at the same time, we're getting warmed up. We're slowly increasing our heart rate. And now let's reach overhead. So I'm going to press my palm toward the ceiling. Compared to our static stretches, those are the ones that we're going to be doing shortly. That is a stretch that you hold for a long period of time. And I want to warm up the lower back a little bit. So let's go into a set of good mornings. I'm going to place my hands just behind my ears and fold forward. I'm going to come back up, keeping my elbows back, chest pushed out. Now, you should feel this all through the hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back. Breathe through it. Keep pushing through. Let's do 2 more. Weight on the heels, chest out. And I want to warm up my back a little bit more. So I'm going to warm up the back of my shoulder blades. In a wide foot position, I'm going to take my palm and tuck it just in front of my knee. From here, I'm going to place my other palm on top. And you can bend your knees as much as you need to, whatever's comfortable for you in this stretch. I'm going to stretch, look up to my thumb, and back down. I want to pull my shoulder blade back, rotating through my core. Breathing through this. 2 more on this side. 1 more. Exhale as you lift up. Lower down. Let's take it to the other side. So we're going to have the nice wide foot position. We're going to turn the toes out. Place the palm so it's facing out just inside the knee. Place the other palm on top. Rotate and look up to your palm. And this stretch should feel good. It should feel like you're going through the range of motion for the back and the shoulders. Breathing through it. 3 more. Abs are in. Brace through the core. 1 more. And I'm going to stretch out my chest and my traps. Now the traps are a kite-shaped muscle that run from the base of the neck down to the back of the shoulder blades and then down through the mid-back to the middle of the spine. So we want to activate those muscles. Let's tuck our elbows in. So palms are facing up, elbows are in, and I want you to pull your shoulder blades back and down so your chest is pushed out but the chin is neutral. From here, I'm going to rotate my palms out while keeping my elbows in. So my neck stays neutral. I'm just going to move through the range of motion. So you should feel your pecs, which are the muscles in the chest, but also the muscles down the side of the neck and the back of the shoulder blades. Exhale as you extend out. And you can do this when seated at a desk as well. You're pulling your shoulder blades back and down. Breathing through it. Abs are in. 2 more. Now we want to warm up our lower body a little bit more. So we're going to go into a squat here. So nice wide stance. And I just want you to squat down. Right now you might feel a little stiff as we warm up. Squat as low as you can. Right now I'm going pretty shallow in the squat just till I get warmed up. And if you start to get warmed up here, you can go a little wider and a little deeper in the squat. Wake up those hips and the quads. 2 more. And let's get the lower legs moving. Now, if you need to, you can hold the back of a chair here, feet shoulder width apart, and we're gonna go into a calf press. We're gonna raise up and back down, raise up and back down, breathing through it, squeezing your calves. Focus on the lower leg doing the work. Two more. And one left. All right, we're gonna go to what I'm using as the jump rope. You can use a yoga strap, a tie, as I mentioned before, whatever works for you. Now, in this exercise, we're going to go nice and wide. So I'm going to lengthen my arms out as much as possible. And from here, just walk them just a touch in. So just about a centimeter inward. And then lifting my chest, keeping my shoulder blades down. I'm gonna start with the rope in front of my chest. And I'm gonna go behind my head, bringing the rope down toward the lower back. Breathing through this, let's do 10 of these. And if you find that your grip is a little not challenging enough, then just walk your hands in a little bit. It depends on your flexibility through your shoulders, your chest, and your back. Breathe through this, lower back to chest. 4 more here. Waking up those shoulders, opening up that chest. 2 left. 1 more. All right, let's do another strap exercise. So with this one, we're going to extend our arms up in a Y, but we're going to walk it in a little bit. So I'm going to have my arms up, and from here, I'm going to lower down to my right side. My shoulders are hitting my ceiling, so I'm just going to kneel down, but you can stay standing. So from here, I'm going to drop down. So my arm that's extended over my head is now touching my ear. Nice deep breathing here. Holding that stretch. And let's go to the other side. So I'm touching my ear, bracing through the core. Breathing through this. And let's bring it back up, and we're going to lower the strap down. Next, we're going to go to standing stretches that require something for balance. So you can use either your kitchen countertop, the back of a kitchen chair, the back of any of your furniture, whatever you've got handy that can help you stabilize. So I'm going to start out with my right side. So we're going to do all these standing stretches on our right, then we'll move the chair to the center to do a couple stretches. Following that, we'll go to the left. So we're going to start out with our hips. So on this one, I want to stretch out my right hip. So I'm going to walk my left leg forward, walk my right leg back. I'm going to hold on to my chair, and then I'm going to take a wide foot position and just press the pelvis forward and pull the shoulder blades back and down. Nice deep breathing here. Whenever you're doing static stretches, you want to hold them for at least 30 seconds or as long as a minute. And that will help to elongate the muscle so that it recognizes that it's in the stretch position and starts to settle into the stretch position and stretch out, holding, breathing through it. Keep those shoulder blades dropped down. Bracing through the core. And let's walk that foot in. Next, we're going to go to the quad, which is the muscle on the front of the thigh. Now on this one, oftentimes we tend to do this and we kind of let the leg flare out. So on this one, I'm going to hold onto my chair. I'm going to place my hands on my shoelace, but I want to actively press the knee down. So I'm standing tall, setting my shoulder blades down, but actively pressing the knee down toward the floor. So oftentimes with this one, we tend to go a little lax. We hold on the shoelaces, but we let our leg flare out. With this one, you always want to press down. When you press down, you'll really feel that quad engage. Breathing through the stretch. Let the shoulders relax. Pressing the knee down toward the floor. And just let it drop down. We're gonna go to the right ankle next. So extend your leg out and we're going to turn the ankle in and then we're going to turn the ankle out. We're gonna move through this range of motion for the ankles. Nice deep breathing through it. Let's do 2 more. And we're going to take it to an upper body stretch here, so we don't need our chair. We're going to stretch out our right side tricep. So bring the arm up, take your other hand, and bring that arm down so you are just gently pressing down so that your hand behind your back is going to be just under the base of your neck. Nice deep breathing, set the shoulder blades back. Now this one you can do seated or standing. But if shoulder flexibility or chest flexibility is a bit of an issue for you, you might find the standing version a little easier. Sometimes in that seated position, this one can be pretty challenging. Breathe through it. And just shake it out. We're going to go to the center now. So I'm going to angle my chair so you can see this from the 45-degree angle. So I'm going to place both hands on the back of a chair and just walk my feet back a little bit. I'm going to drop my ears down between my arms. Now just relax the neck. Weight should be distributed on your heels. And you should feel this all through the upper back and the back of the shoulder blades. Relax through the stretch. So you may be familiar with the child pose on the mat. This is a standing modified version of the child pose. So if you have any knee pain and kneeling is problematic for you, this is a great way to do the child pose and stretch out your upper back. Now just to give your lower back a little break, we're just going to come out of it and we're just going to adjust our hand position. So this time I'm going to cross my right hand over, followed by the left. I'm going to walk back again, and I'm just going to go a little less deep into the stretch this time. So you'll notice that my head isn't as far down, but this is focusing the stretch on the back of the shoulder blade. Breathe through it. And just slowly come up out of it. Step forward. We're going to switch the bottom hand. So my left hand is going to go over top of my right. And back down. Stretch out the shoulders. Breathing through the stretch. Now you might not normally do a lot of stretching in your workouts. So you might frequent the weight room or a fitness class and don't put a lot of focus on flexibility training. However, it is very important to focus on flexibility, especially when we have an active rest week. And I'll get into a little bit more about active rest. All right, let's come up out of it. We're going to move our chair over to the other side. We're going to go back to our hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to walk my left leg back. So I'm focusing on the left hip now. And I'm going to tilt my pelvis forward and drop the shoulder blades down. So active rest is not a week off of exercise or a week off of the gym. It's a week of decreased training volume or training intensity. So frequently, the recommended amount would be about 70% of your regular training volume or intensity. So for example, you can either reduce the number of workouts per week, or you can reduce the time that you do the length of the workout. So the duration could drop, say for example, from an hour to 45 minutes. So you could reduce the amount that you're doing through time or the number of days. And you can also reduce your intensity by keeping the exercises that you're doing low impact. So an active rest week, it's not about taking the week off. It's about allowing the joints and the soft tissues some extra time to recover. All right, let's go into our quad stretch here. So with this one, holding the back of the chair, I'm going to hold on to my shoelaces and I'm going to actively press that knee down toward the floor. A regular program that is properly balanced for weight training should actually include an active rest week every 3 to 6 weeks. So 3 weeks would be more for elite athletes who are training heavily. More between 4 and 6 weeks is going to be for the general population, depending on how heavily you train. And you want to incorporate that in because while muscles only take 48 hours to heal, our joints and soft tissue need a little bit of extra time to heal once in a while. And a great way to do that is by taking a flexibility training day. That can be one of our reduced days of training. And let's lower that down. We're going to go into our inversion eversion of the ankle. So I'm going to extend my leg out. So I'm going to inversion, eversion, turn it out. Breathe through it. Nice deep breathing, shoulder blades are down. And active rest is so important to incorporate in, not only for your joint health, but also for a mental health break. Sometimes slugging it away in the gym every week for weeks on end can be a little monotonous. So coming back after that training week, you're gonna feel a lot better about it. All right, so we've done both sides on the back of the chair exercises. So we're just going to do one more standing exercise, which is our tricep one, and then we're gonna take it to the mat. So I'm going to place my hand behind. Once again, I'm just gently pressing my arm down and breathing through it. Relax the shoulders. Now, if you don't have a mat, that's okay. You can use a beach towel or you can just do it on your floor. Anywhere where you feel comfortable on the floor is fine. And let's shake out those arms. I'm going to set my chair aside. And I'm going to spread out my beach towel. And we're going to take it into a supine position, which means my belly is going to be up, my back is on the floor. So I'm going to go back to the yoga strap or modified yoga strap as I have here. And I want to go into a pretty deep hamstring stretch. So I'm going to take my jump rope and place it around my right leg. So I'm hooking it around the arch of my foot. And I'm going to lower down, relax my shoulder blades down, and just gently pull on my leg so that I'm getting a deeper stretch through the hamstring than what I could do if I was holding my leg. So relax your shoulders, keep the head down on the floor. Now you can either bend the opposite knee or you can extend it out. Whatever's more comfortable for your lower back is fine. Breathe through the stretch. Now you may find that active weeks rest kind of happen on their own pretty frequently for you, and that can be due to vacation, it can be due to stat holidays. So oftentimes we'll end up taking a few days off the gym for extra rest anyway. So for example, if you go on vacation and you're walking around doing a lot of touring, you're getting a lot of steps per day. All right, let's lower that side down. We're just gonna come up to seated. I'm gonna hook my rope over the other foot and lower my head, neck, and shoulders down. So you might end up with an active rest week built into your program without even trying. But if you have been going to the gym really consistently for about a month, you do want to make sure you're taking those active rest days. and focus on recovery, especially when we're in added stress situations. This week has been some adjustment to our new normal. Breathe through the stretch. Shoulder blades are down. All right, I'm going to remove the strap here. I'm just going to set it aside. We're going to go into a glute stretch. So for this one, I'm going to bend both my knees. My right knee is going to cross over the left. I'm going to turn my heel out and relax the shoulders down. Take my hands and clasp them behind my left leg. Breathing through it, settle into the stretch here, relax your shoulders. So you should feel this stretch through the right side in the glute, which are the large muscles in the butt cheek. Breathing deeply. And let's lower that side down. So just unclasp your hands. Let's switch it out. So the left is going to cross over the right. Press my heel out so it's pressed away. Clasp my hands behind the right leg and drop the shoulder blades back down. Active rest is also a really great way to do some fun activities that you don't normally have the chance to do. So for example, in the summer, get outside, go for a bike ride, and it doesn't have to be a hard bike ride. You don't have to push yourself. You can just go out for an enjoyable pace that works for you. You can go swimming, play a match of tennis with a friend. If it's the winter time, take a day to go skiing, get outside, go skate on the canal. All right, let's lower that side down. From here, we're going to stretch out through the back. So we're going to bring both knees up. I'm going to put my arms in a T, and now I'm going to rotate, dropping my legs down to one side. And you can adjust your shoulder position so that it feels comfortable. It should just feel like it's opening up the chest here, but you're getting a stretch through the lower and mid back. And breathe through it. So your active rest week can always be something that you just enjoy doing. And if you normally spend your time in the gym, you might not find you have as much time for just activities that you like to do with family or friends, or things that are just things you don't normally get to do when you're on vacation. So it's a really good time to focus on that recovery week. All right, let's bring it up and over. So we're going to bring the knees up, twisting over to the other side, drop the legs down, and relax the shoulders. Breathe deeply. Make sure you're not holding your breath through the stretch. And let's bring our knees up. So this time, we're just going to leave our feet flat on the floor. Place your hands at your side, wherever's comfortable for you. And right now, I want you to just actively push your lower back down to the floor. You're going to feel those core muscles engage. So we're just pressing down, breathing through it, and then release. Relax the upper body, relax your core. And let's do it again. This time, we're going to exhale forcefully. Here we go. Pressing the lower back down to the floor and release. Once more here, tuck the pelvis down, pressing the lower back down. Here we go. and release. Let's bring our knees back into our chest. We're going to place our hands just on top. And from here, we're going to rock side to side, relaxing through the lower back. And lower the feet down. I'm going to bring my arms up. So I'm going to reach up overhead. So my hands are next to my ears. Big reach. Stretching out through the trunk. Stretching out through the back of the shoulder blades. Breathing deeply. And relax the arms. We're going to come up to a seated position to stretch out the lower back. I'm just going to let my feet flop down, and then I'm going to slide forward, and it should be a gentle stretch to the lower back. Breathing through this. Let your shoulders relax here. Big inhale. Now we're going to go into an adductor stretch. Adductors are the muscle just inside the leg. So for this one, I'm going to keep my feet together, place my hands just on top of my toes, and then lift. Now I'm going to imagine that there's a string pulling my chest up toward the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down. So just make a note of how far your knees went down. They should just feel natural here. But we're going to push the stretch just a little bit. So what we're going to do next is I'm just going to take my hands off of my toes, place my elbows just inside my knees, and I'm going to push my knees inward, resisting against my elbows. Ready? Here we go. Press the knees in while pushing down with my elbows. And you should feel the muscles on the inside of the thigh working. And then we're going to go back into the stretch and just let the knees drop down a little bit more. So you might just get just that little bit of a deeper stretch now. Keep that chest lifted. So again, make a note of where your knees are. And we're gonna do it once more. So just place your elbows just inside your knees, resist. Elbows are pressing against the inside of the leg. Keep pushing against it, breathing through it, and relax. Once again, drop them down. So you'll probably find that you're a little deeper in that stretch now than you were originally able to get into. And when you have muscles that surround the hips, for example, you can push a little bit harder in those stretches than you can in some of the other joints. All right, we're gonna go into a hamstring stretch here. So extend your right leg out and just gently roll forward. So you'll notice I'm only coming down to sort of the bottom of my shin. That's as far as what's comfortable for me. If you can go all the way to your toes, that's fine, but just go where it's comfortable. A stretch should feel gentle, but it shouldn't feel like discomfort. And we're going to take it over to the other side. Now there's also your body's natural yellow light telling you how far you should stretch. You might find there's something called the stretch reflex that kicks in. So for example, if I try to push myself too hard on this stretch, you might notice the muscle starts to shake. There might be a little wobbliness. And if that's the case, that's my body saying, whoa, back it up. It's telling me that I probably shouldn't stretch any further than that. The reason it starts to shake is the muscle will contract to stop you from going any further. And it's not a bad thing. It's just your body's system to warn you not to go any further. And we're gonna bring it in. We're gonna stretch out the mid back. So I'm gonna take my hand, just place it just against the outside of my leg, sitting up tall. Once again, we wanna imagine that string pulling the chest up toward the ceiling, keeping my neck in a neutral position, my back lifted, chest lifted, breathing through it. And relax that side. We're going to take it over to the other side. Turn, lift the chest, pull the shoulder blades back down. Breathing through the stretch. And so since we've been sitting up tall, we just want to alleviate that lower back. Just drop your hands down and relax. Let the shoulders relax. Let your back round in this position. And we're just going to walk it back up. Now, as I'm sure many of you are also working at home, so you're going to be doing a lot of typing, a lot of time at your desk, and maybe not such an ergonomic workstation that you normally work at. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of our forearms and our wrists. So we're just going to give our wrists a gentle stretch. So take your hand and just gently press those fingers back. Now with the wrists, you never want to push the stretch too hard. So you should feel a little bit of a gentle stretch here just through the forearm, but it shouldn't be pushing too hard on that one. And let's take it to the other side. If you have any pain in this one, I wouldn't recommend doing the wrist extensor stretch. You can do wrist rotations instead. We're going to go into wrist flexors here. So this time I'm just going to take my hand and gently press it downward. Once again, if you have any pain with this one, I would not recommend doing the move. Switch sides, gently press down. So this one you should feel in the top of the forearm. And just splay those fingers out. So we're crunching them in, splaying them out, stretching out our fingers. And just shake out the shoulders. So we're going to move on to using our roller. So this is just a regular baking rolling pin. And I'm going to use this to do myofascial release on the muscles at the back of the skull. So oftentimes these muscles can get very, very tense. They can cause headaches. They can cause some strain through the neck, but we might not realize how tight they are. So I'm going to show you how to relax these muscles a little bit. So I'm going to take my baking rolling pin. I'm going to lower it down. You can have your legs extended out or your knees bent, whatever's comfortable for your lower back. I take my rolling pin and set it to the back of my skull, the base of my skull. There's a muscle group there that's kind of fleshy. If you take your thumbs, just press, you'll feel a little bit of tightness there or a little bit of muscle soreness. That's the spot we want to focus on. So I'm going to place my rolling pin. You can use the handles to adjust the position, so you can even slightly angle it if you like. Now from here, find that fleshy spot and just gently turn your head. You can do another adjustment of the roller. You'll probably find a spot that feels a little bit like there's a little bit of a shooting pain or a little bit of a feeling when you find it. And that's the spot. So when you found that spot, just relax your arms down. Breathe through it. Now by pressing the rolling pin into that spot, it's going to help to break up any of those tissues that are all balled together. So for example, when you go for a massage, they're working out knots. That knot in the back of your head is going to get worked out by the rolling pin. So if you need to, just do a little adjustment. You can adjust the angle and you might find it's even more pronounced. Just make sure that you're breathing through it. Relax your shoulders. And this can be done with a yoga tune-up ball if you have one at home. But I actually find it's a little bit better with the rolling pin. Or if you have the 2-pack of the yoga tune-up balls where you can put them in the mesh bag, that works a little bit better. The ball tends to scoot out from behind your head, where the rolling pin tends to stay put. And if you normally use your rolling pin for baking, make sure you give it a good wash afterwards, of course. If it's been sitting in your cupboard forever and you don't do a lot of baking, maybe not too much of a problem. Maybe you can just go with your regular fitness equipment at home. All right, we're going to do a slight adjustment here. So just adjust the position slightly angled. And once again, drop the weight of your head back down onto the rolling pin. This should feel quite relaxing. There's that little bit of a feeling when you first find the spot, and then after that, it should work it out. All right, so we're gonna go to the other side. So let's take our rolling pin, just adjust it behind your head again so it's flat or straight, and then you're going to turn your nose to the other side, and once again, just drop the weight of your head down onto the rolling pin. Keep breathing. When you find that spot, it's gonna feel a little tender. Inhale deeply, exhale. And once again, you can just reposition the roller. So just grab the handles and just slightly angle. And again, you might find a different spot altogether. Nice deep breathing through the exercise. And this is a great way to relax when you need an afternoon break. You can just do this myofascial release portion of the workout, especially if you tend to get tension headaches or neck pain from being seated at a desk. This one's going to be really helpful. All right, we're going to remove our rolling pin and just either keep your knees bent or drop your legs down. Let your arms relax. And we're going to go through progressive relaxation for each muscle. You can close your eyes. Now, what I want you to do is point your toes. So you're flexing through the lower leg, squeezing the foot, and then relax it. Breathe through it. Notice the difference between the relaxed muscle and the tense muscle. Next, I want you to push your heels out. So we're going the opposite direction. Pull your toes in toward your body. There should be tension building in your calves. Focus on that tension and relax. Let your feet drop down. Notice the difference between the tense muscle and the relaxed muscle. Up next, I want you to squeeze your butt cheeks together. So you're letting tension build through the glutes, breathing through it, and relax. Let the tension flow out of the muscle and relax the lower body down to the floor. Up next, press the lower back down toward the floor, just like we did before with the bend knee pelvic tuck. Press it down, Let tension build through your core. Breathing through this. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And relax. Focus on the relaxation of the lower back and through the abs. Up next, I want you to drive your shoulder blades down into the floor. So you're pressing your upper back muscles down, focusing on that tension. Press them into the floor. Breathing through it and relax. Let the shoulders relax, let the upper back relax. Up next, we're going to move to our hands. We're going to clench our fists together, pulling those fingers inward. Let the tension build up in the hands and release and give them a little stretch. And drop the hands down, relaxing through the forearms. Up next, I'm going to pull my shoulders up toward my ears. That's the trap muscle we talked about, that big kite-shaped muscle. Pull it up toward the ears and then relax. Focus on the difference between the flexed muscle and the relaxed muscle. Up next, we're going to focus on our eyes. Squeeze your eyes shut, letting tension build through the eye muscles in the forehead. But make sure that you're breathing through it, not holding your breath. And then relax your eyes. They can be closed, open, whatever you prefer. Next, I'm going to focus on tension in the jaw. Press the bottom of your tongue, or the top of your tongue, up toward the ceiling of your mouth. Press it up. Let tension build through the jaw. And relax. Scan from your toes all the way up to your head. Relaxing, dropping down to the floor. And breathe. All right, so that is a progressive relaxation for the muscles. And you can do myofascial release just like you would any foam roller exercises with your rolling pin. You can include those into your day. And enjoy your day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.